July 5th, 1926. 1 week. 7 story that captures the world's attention. A devastating earthquake leaves thousands homeless in Sumatra. Mussolini takes more control of Italy. The Hitler Youth is officially born. America celebrates 150 years of independence. Canada faces a constitutional crisis that changes its future. A dramatic Wimbledon final crowns a new queen of tennis. And Charlie Chaplin's latest film is on the verge of collapse. This is the world exactly 100 years ago. Number 1. The Great Sumatra Earthquake. On June 28, 1926, one of the deadliest earthquakes on the decade struck the Dutch East Indies. A powerful magnitude 7.6 earthquake devastated western Sumatra, killing more than 400 people and leaving over 20,000 homeless. But the real horror came next. Less than 3 hours later, a second massive earthquake hit the same region. Rescuers who was rushed into collapsed buildings suddenly found themselves trapped beneath new waves of rubble. Entire villages disappeared, landslides buried mountain roads, and even the famous Jangadan clock tower was left visibly tilted. With telegraph lines destroyed and roads cut off, many communities remained isolated for days as terrified survivors slept outdoors, fearing another deadly shock. For people across the Dutch East Indies, it felt less like a natural disaster and more like the end of the world. Number 2. Mussolini's total control. On June 29, 1926, Benito Mussolini showed Italians that his government could control almost every aspect of daily life. To rescue Italy's struggling economy, he ordered workers to stay on the job 9 hours instead of 8, with no extra pay. But that was only the beginning. He also banned the construction of luxury homes, limited newspaper to just 6 pages, and stopped new dance hall, cafe, and entertainment venue from opening. Within days, fascist inspectors were enforcing the new rules across the country. Many Italians accepted the sacrifices in silence. Others quietly wondered how much control one government should have over their lives. The battle for Italy's economy had become a battle for everyday freedom. Number 5. The birth of Hitler Youth. On July 4, 1926, during a party congress in Weimar, he officially created the Hitler Youth, bringing together the party's scattered youth group under one national organization. Its mission was simple: rescue teenagers, teach them absolutely loyalty, and prepare the next generation of Nazis. Supporters celebrate the new movement with march and uniforms. Critics warned that politics was now targeting children. Within days, recruitment began across Germany as local chapters opened their doors to boys between 14 and 18 years old. What looks like a small youth organization in 1926 will eventually shape the life of millions of German children. Number 4. America's 150th birthday. On July 4, 1926, the United States celebrated its 150th birthday with one of the largest national celebrations in its history. Millions of Americans filled the street with parades, fireworks, and flags as President Calvin Coolidge addressed the nation from Philadelphia. And this wasn't just a birthday party. It was America's chance to show the world how far it had come. Foreign journalists watched as the country unveiled massive exhibitions, dazzling electric displays, and the giant Liberty Bell covered with 25,000 light bulbs. The celebrations continued as days as visitors poured into Philadelphia. Just 150 years after declaring independence, the United States wanted the world to see one thing: the future belonged to America. Number 5. The King being constitutional crisis. On July 1st, 1926, Canada's government collapsed over a single vote. Just days earlier, Prime Minister William Lyon Mackenzie King had asked Governor-General Lord Byng to dissolve Parliament and call new elections. Byng refused. Instead, he appointed opposition leader Arthur Meighen as Prime Minister, but the gamble backfired. Only 3 days later, Meighen's new government lost a confidence vote by just one vote, forcing Parliament to dissolve anyway. Across Canada, people argued over one question: should an elected representative of the British Crown have the power to overrule an elected Prime Minister? The crisis changed Canada's relationship with Britain forever. Number 6. 1926 Wimbledon Women's Final. On July 3, 1926, Wimbledon crowned a new queen of tennis. For the first time in years, the title was up for grabs after legendary champion Suzanne Lenglen withdrew from the tournament. Spain's Lili de Alvarez quickly became the favorite, taking the first set 6-2 with her aggressive style. But the match suddenly turned. Backed by a roaring home crowd, Britain's Kitty McKay Godfrey changed her strategy, won the next 2 sets 6-4 and 6-3, and completed a remarkable comeback to become Wimbledon's champion. Newspapers around the world celebrate one of the greatest women's finals of the decade. It marked the beginning of a new era in women's after the reign of Suzanne Lenglen. Number 7. Charlie Chaplin's The Circus. In early July 1926, Charlie Chaplin faced the biggest crisis of his career. While filming The Circus, he discovered that an entire month of footage had been ruined, forcing him to shoot large parts of the movie all over again. At the same time, his highly public divorce from Lida Gray was dominating headlines and putting enormous financial pressure on his studio. Newspapers began wondering whether the world's most famous filmmaker could finish the movie at all. Production slowed and costs continued to climb, and the pressure mounted. The problem didn't end there. In the months that followed, a devastating fire destroyed part of the set, and even training lions escaped during filming, turning The Circus into one of the most troubled productions in Hollywood history. Despite everything, Chaplin refused to give up, and The Circus will eventually become one of the greatest films of his career. The world never changed all at once. It changed 1 week at a time. Every week had its disasters, its triumph, its heroes, and its turning points. Join me next week as we travel another 100 years into the past and discover the next chapter of history.